When it comes to having children, there's an awful lot of talk about how it affects the mother, how they cope after childbirth, how they bond with their unborn child, and maybe how they try to juggle motherhood with work.
Well, now a company that focuses on the needs of fathers has released a DVD to help support expectant and new dads, giving them, I'm told, real-life pregnancy and birthing advice.
Joining us now is the creator of the DVD, Troy Jones, the co-founder of the company, Patrick Hauser, and the clinical lead for health visiting for NHS Manchester, Anne McDermott. Welcome to you all.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start off with, why the need for a DVD?
If you look at the history of men in childbirth, they don't mix. So if you look, pretty much, for example, even men and childbirth have been pretty much kept apart. For example, in the 1600s, we found that there was a German physician that was desperate to get involved and actually see a childbirth. So the only way to do it was to dress up as a lady, go into the birthing suite. He was unfortunately picked up by the midwives and punished. His punishment was to be burnt at the stake.
Yeah, it doesn't happen now, though. I saw the birth of my 3 children and nobody took me out and burned me at the stake.
No, although that's the thing, it's a comfortable situation for guys because they're pretty much in denial. We found during the pregnancy they're not really expecting a baby to be born at the end. So we like to think of UK guys as the kings of denial. They can go through 9 months of pregnancy and morning sickness and somehow still be surprised when the baby's born. So that's where we kind of come in.
I actually think it's a shock.
Like that, it's exactly like that. Really? A baby? No one mentioned a baby.
But it's a shock to everybody. It's a shock to the mother as well. And however prepared you are, however much you speak to your health visitor, every new mother looks as if they're absolutely shell-shocked. So I think mothers and fathers are both in the same position.
There's one massive difference, though, is that women talk to each other and women read. Like, women really read and they're really voracious about finding information, whereas guys... in our film, for example, the #1 bit of advice of what not to say to your pregnant wife is, I'm really tired. You know, never say to a pregnant girl, I'm tired, because she's going to go, you're tired? Yeah. You know, well, let me tell you about tired. But the scary thing is then, if the guy is struggling or he's looking for information, where does he turn? He never talked to his friends about it. He never talked to his dad, his mum, his wife about what's actually going on in his head. So you sort of go into this sort of, I'll wait till the baby gets here. And so our film, we have 40 dads, including a handful of awesome Manchester dads, sitting around having a beer or two and talking about what happened to them. And so...
But Patrick... I have seen the birth of my 3 children. Would I have been a better father now had I seen your DVD beforehand?
Well, I don't know that you would be a better father. You would perhaps be better prepared to be a father. Because
generations have managed it so far, haven't they?
Yes, they have. But in 1975, your average father in the UK spent 15 minutes a day with his children. By 1995, it was 2 hours. So we've had a cultural shift, but we haven't done is supported it socially. So things like my book, The Fathers to Be Handbook, the DVD, Being Dad, those are tools that help a man kind of integrate. A woman has a biological imperative.
Clearly,
she has hormones helping her day and night.
Yeah.
The father, on the other hand, doesn't have that kind of an advantage. So he's working at a handicap, yet he's engaged, he's involved, he's at the birth, he's helping during the immediate time afterwards, and yet he hasn't had the opportunity.
And dads are expected to be different now than they were 20 years ago. 20 years ago it was okay to be well, actually it was expected. You were the provider and the mum was sort of the mum and you come home the disciplinarian. These days, not only is not what dads want, it's not what's expected of them, so a bit lost.
We must bring Anne on this one.
Am I correct, this isn't an NHS DVD. Do you think that you would bring something out like this? Do you think it's needed?
I think there's a need out there. I think, as these gentlemen have said, there's been a cultural shift, and there are many fathers out there that want to be included more in the preparation for the birth of their baby, and they want to know how they can help support their partner. It's not every man that's in that state of mind, but for those that are there, I think anything that helps prepare them mentally and emotionally for what lies ahead has got to be for the good. It's about choices, really, and it's another source of information for fathers, because we do believe greatly in giving people as much information as they can to make the right choices.
I read a lot in conjunction with the mother of my children, but it was all aimed essentially at her, to be fair. I mean, I tried to engage in it as much as I could, and I tried to, I read, Miriam Stoppard's books and all this stuff, but it was all about having the baby. It wasn't about being the dad of the baby.
Yeah, and I think one of the big issues with the book, and books are great and they're really important, but a lot of guys just, like I said, in denial, so they're not reading so much. But two, if I have a book and my wife reads it one day, maybe I read it 4 or 5 days later, there's not ever a connect over it. If you're watching a film, like any film, you sit there together, watch it together, and you can sort of discuss it as it goes and at the end. And if you have a discussion with your wife about pain relief or options and choices that you have, it may even be the first time they have a real discussion about it, and that's what we try and do at Being Dad.
Terrific.
Okay.
Most men don't realize they're going to have an emotional experience around birth. And one thing this film demonstrates is that these guys open up and they do have an emotional experience. And they share that, and that's fascinating. And it's important to know that men coming together, expectant dads and new dads, to talk about their experience is very, very powerful. And we hold classes with fathers-to-be for expectant dads.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. It's a very interesting subject, actually, because on paper I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this, but
Yeah,
you may have just convinced me.
Me too.
We'll do that. We'll do
As a
that.
father of three. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thanks very much
Thank
indeed
you.
for coming in.